Hello? Do I have this working? I think I have this working, right? Let me know in the chat if I have this working. I think I do. Hello, hello. My goodness. Okay. Is anything happening on screen for you guys? Hi, yay, I can hear, I can, okay, you guys can hear me, great. Is the screen doing anything? It is, okay. Oh wow, it's just behind. Wow, okay. I've never done this before. Will this recording be saved on YouTube? Probably. I think it automatically saves. So yes, I think so. I tested it out earlier like a little nerd. Hello. Hey. Wow, 3 people. Cool. Awesome. Capture moments as they happen. I'm good. YouTube is telling me all kinds of things. Let me try and clear up some stuff going on my computer. I think I need to close some things to leave some space open. Let's see. Hopefully this helps. Okay. Close these things. Okay. Alright. This is something that I actually have been animating for like a day. I mentioned it online that I lost all the work for this, and it was very sad because I worked very hard on this. But I started it again that day, and hopefully it's playing for you guys, because on my screen it's totally not. Hello, Dylan. So yeah, I've done this a little bit, but it's still in a super rough stage, and I'm just gonna work on this for a little while. And if you have any questions about what I'm doing, I'm totally open to answer them. I'll tell you what I've been doing for this. I have like, this is for a little thing that I'm just animating for fun, and I have storyboards on here already. So I've been animating to my storyboards, which I will show you. Really don't know the lag time between what I'm saying and what you guys are seeing. Because for me, when I'm watching it, it's like seconds behind, like probably like 10 seconds. But yeah, these are my storyboards. And I'm just kind of going off these poses, working with these poses. How long did this take so far? This was like one day. Just like working on and off. I have a layout pose here. Let me see if I can turn off this stuff. It's just one pose for an actual like framework. But yeah, this has taken like one day. I just started with this initial first pose that I'm on right now of him like asleep. And then I did a pose following my storyboards, which is this one where he's kind of like scrunching and like, what the heck was that sound? He's reacting to like wind hitting a window. So yeah, I did this pose, and then I went to the last pose and just like kind of started working my way around from those 3. I probably looked very silly. I was acting this out in my chair a lot, and that's kind of my work process. I like to like act out what's going on with a character and like feel it myself. But yeah, I probably looked really silly because I was like, how would a kid like wake up really confused and kind of irritated from a loud noise, but like also be groggy and sleepy still? Hey, hello Elena, how's it going? So yeah, I'm going to work on this. There's like a lot of drawings right here, but a good portion of them, like in the beginning here, probably a whole second, is actually just swapping between these 2 drawings that I have here. I just kind of redrew the same one. And I did that to like flicker, so like he would just feel more alive for a few seconds, and then I have him breathing. What are my thoughts on the software I'm using, and what brush do you use to mimic the pencil texture? I love this software. This is TV Paint, and Brian, I bet you work for TV Paint. But and if you don't, that's hilarious. I love TV Paint. This is a really simple software that also has like all the bells and whistles of every other software. It's just hidden, and you could just jump right into this program. So you could just like start animating. It's just like very user friendly. I could just start an animation layer, boom, and I'm going. That's how easy it is. But to get my brush settings, this is my brush settings down here on the bottom left. I use just a pencil, and I use soft. I like to lower my power a little bit and my opacity, and that gets like this nice like soft texture. You could also use hard, but hard is a little bit more like scratchy, and I do that for like more of a cleanup kind of line. You're a college student. Good. I'm gonna start animating here. There's some poses that I really want to redraw, like some of these, because I just I'm not a big fan of them, especially these ones. Thank you. But yeah, let's get into it. I like to keep it pretty loose, especially when I'm going through something that I'm like not exactly sure what I'm really looking for. I'm kind of like always searching when I'm starting an animated piece. But let's break on in. I left some space here. This is for some breathing. But I'm gonna go over one of these drawings because I feel like this one could be a lot better. But let's go over this. Let's see if this one could be better. I'm just gonna get rid of this layer because I don't need it. Ugh. I was like thinking I should have some music while I'm doing this, but I didn't want to get in any trouble with copyright because one time I did a video for my Patreon people that was just pre-recorded, and I put a ton of Ghibli music in it from a CD I have, and I don't know why I didn't think that would get flagged, but the moment I uploaded it, YouTube yelled at me immediately. It was like, we cannot put this up. I was like, oh, okay. And then I totally remembered that my friend Joel and I made this music one day in my office and made a lo-fi video of it. So I was like, oh yeah, perfect. This looks like poopy. So yes, we made this music. Is that working better? His nose looks a little big. I also like have been saving this to like work on for today, and I basically have forgotten exactly how I would draw this character already. Since I'm like semi-learning how I feel like I want to draw this character as I'm animating him. Let's move this for even more. I love working on paper, but boy am I glad that I can just do this with a Cintiq at any moment. It kind of has spoiled me a little bit, I must admit. I think that angle of his head's looking a little better. Thank you all for coming to this, by the way. There's 9 of you here. I was legitimately expecting 0. So this is super cool. Hey Clay, thank you. Yes. Yeah. I contacted TV Paint right after it happened because I even have the autosave function on. And I'm the kind of person that like after every drawing is done, I typically try to save so this kind of thing doesn't happen. And then it just Bugged. I think it's because, honestly, the Cintiq that I'm using is... I think it's like 15 years old. Or something like that. It's very old, and a lot of the modern programs have kind of just stopped working on it. Like Toon Boom. If I want to use Toon Boom, I have to change my display settings and have it run like backwards just to get it to even work, which is really disappointing. And TV Paint sometimes will just have weird quirks, like crashing my file and deleting everything that I did. So Toon Boom does that too. Toon Boom loves to do that all the time. You work at Disney? Not currently. I worked on Disenchanted for about 6 months. That was my extent with Disney as an animator. They have not done many 2D things lately. I applied for that mentorship that they did a while back, but I did not get it, and that's okay because I'm here today doing this. This is a lot of fun. And I think that mentorship ended anyway. Hi, Luke. Hey. It's cool to see some people that I know. I have a cool announcement that I'm going to make on Instagram later, but since you guys are actually here, I will announce it to the special 9 people actually here. We have finished all the layouts for Act 1 of Axel Odyssey as of this morning, which is a big milestone. That means we can actually start animating things, finally. It's taken a while. Some of them are pretty detailed because I'm a maniac. But, yes, they're all done. And we have a voice actress for Ho-Ho, who's got a real cool voice in mind. She hasn't done the actual recording yet, so that's probably really the next step. Let's see. I think this drawing looks a lot better than this one. Just bringing him over a little bit. I could honestly grab this one and just do this move. I bet that would look okay. I think so. I'm gonna do this, I think. Alright. Still needs some work though. Where are my... Turn on, man. My setup is like super far from where it usually is because my desk is a mess, and putting my mic on here, it's like gigantic. So I'm gonna hit buttons that I'm not supposed to hit. Things old tech can bug. Oh yeah, for fun fact, my Cintiq doesn't work 1 inch around the entire screen. So like over here, it doesn't read anything. Down here, like you could see my mouse just like skip. Like I'm moving it around, it's not working. And yeah, that is very frustrating, believe it or not. Thank you. Yes, I can't wait to make this short too. It's really fun. I've got some really cool ideas for it in mind. So hopefully all of them can come to fruition. It's been a really rewarding project, to be honest with you, and I didn't think it would be, since I like haven't really done much with it yet other than like storyboard it and put it through a trailer. But it has been rather rewarding. Like I pitched it to BVS Kids in another studio like recently-ish, and that was really cool. I didn't think that I would get to do that, even though they didn't take it. Neither of them did, so I'm glad you're excited for this movie idea too. I am too. It's really an excuse for me to animate more realistic human characters, because I never really get to. I could actually drag over this character. Hold on. Let's see. Let's get some images. His design is a little different because it just is. I'm sure this is going to show these. It's probably just taking forever. Yes, it is. This is his design. And these are some layouts that I did. So yeah, just I'm learning his character as much as I'm crafting his character. So nose originally was more of like a straight on nose, but as I drew it, I was not exactly a fan of how it was turning out, like in perspective and stuff. So it's no longer that way. But let's see if I can make these angles just a little better. I'd really like to plus these. As you can see, I stay rather rough when I am animating. Just cause. Nothing is sacred at this point. What's his head doing? Hello, Chris. Is the kid design inspired by Sean from Arrietty or most Ghibli kids in general? He's not inspired by that character. I've only seen that movie, I think, twice. And I think his design is a little too anime for my liking, to be honest with you. I actually don't, ironically, where'd my drawing go? I actually don't really care for anime that much, but I do love Studio Ghibli very, very much. And so yes, his design is in part inspired by Studio Ghibli, because I can't hide what I like. But I'm also trying to mix in my style a little bit. Let's just do this. Okay. I'll play this again because I know some of you have just recently joined. We have a few more people, so I'm sure not everybody has seen what it actually looks like while it's moving. But I think this pose is... his hair is doing something crazy there. I think this pose is a little better. Didn't like that. I think that works. His face is going to be covered by his hand anyway. I don't know if any of you sleep like a maniac like I do. This is really based off how I sleep, I think. I kind of wake up like with my hands like all over my face, and I look like I'm in pain, I guess. This is kind of how I wake up in the morning. I think that face is drawing better than this one, so well, maybe. I will play this first. How about that? Looking goody in the hoodie. Let's see what this looks like if I add the drawing I did. Does it look better? We will find out. I should probably just raise this. I can't even see anything. You know what? I'll just do this move. This is a radical move. Okay. Now we'll see. No, you know what? I kind of like what I had before. I think this drawing sucks. Hello, Celine. Hi. I think I'm going to keep this super rough drawing, but I will redraw it because it does look like poopy. But yeah, I think it works better than that redraw. Trial and error. Let's work on him breathing because I already have it planned out. Do I need 19 drawings? Or do I really need like 10 more drawings? That's the question, isn't it? How long does he stay in this pose up here? Alright. This is going to be so close. So close together. We're going to find out how pointless this in-between is about to be. Super tiny drawings. I have some friends of mine helping on this project to do backgrounds and color keys and stuff, because I do want this to look like a completed actual proof of concept kind of deal. And backgrounds are not something I can do at all. I will willingly admit that. I am more of the animator guy. I can do boards, characters, and animation, but backgrounds, not so much. That is not my strong suit. Hard question. Favorite Ghibli film? That is an extremely hard question. Gosh. I don't know. I think it changes on the day. I could give you my top few, and then we can argue about it. I really like, in no particular order, I like Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Ponyo, and Porco Rosso, all very, very equally. I really think Porco Rosso is one of the best, but it gives a very different feeling when I watch it than Spirited Away does. But Ponyo is so innocent. It's like, gosh, how do you not love it? It's so innocent. Did you do the backgrounds on the storyboards? I think they look great. For this, I did, yeah. I did the layouts. Let me go to that. I did draw these. I did not draw them in TV Paint, even though I probably could have very easily. Honestly, it kind of looks like it was done in TV Paint. But I did in Photoshop. These were all done in Photoshop. I still have 2 more to do. I'm in the process of making one that's like kind of multi-layered, so I just have been lazy. This is the secret sauce for any sort of really subtle animation. If you're like wondering, how does someone get something look so subtle? It's because it is actually drawn that close together. It is drawn so close together. I think TV Paint, or like out of the box, is the onion skin is like orange and green, and I worked with that for a while, and I think Toon Boom is red and green, but I changed it to blue and red for some project, and I quite like it, to be honest. I feel like I could see the lines a lot better. Unless I work in red and blue, which I often do, then I feel like a big ding-dong. It's probably why people don't use red and blue, because so many projects identify things with red and blue. Oh, sorry if that was loud. Good top. Thank you. Anybody have top Ghibli films or animated films they want to put in this chat? Or favorite film from this past year, I suppose. Favorite animated film. There's a few big ones that I did not even see yet. I just have not really been interested in watching many movies. A lot of them have seemed very uninteresting to me. After this frame, I'll do some more fun animation, like a different pose. This one gets old quick. No one wants to do this one. But I can give you the mindset behind why I'm animating this backwards on the timeline, because frame 70 is actually the key pose, and then it goes down to frame 82 or 92. Yeah, 92. Oh man, that's a lot between there. I don't think I need that long. But I can explain why I'm actually going backwards in a second with a timing chart. If any of you in the chat are actual animators in school, or aspiring animators, or of any of the animator kind, if you want to do hand-drawn or CG, whichever one, you will need to understand timing charts. And CG animators will actually sometimes, I mean, back in the day at like early CG studios like Pixar and DreamWorks in their infancy, they would just draw directly on the computer screen with a marker, like timing charts, and like arc it on the actual models. It's very interesting to see. Now you can just do it, you know, you can just write on the computer like this. But animators do, especially CG animators, they still use those keyframes, or not the keyframes, the timing charts. They are super helpful. Here we go, some movies. In my opinion, Boy and the Heron was the best from last year. Spider-Verse was really good, but the ending felt really drawn out. Boy and the Heron was amazing. I have not seen Spider-Verse. That is the one that I am afraid to tell people because it was so widely accepted and loved. I am one of those people that truly loves superheroes and Marvel, and after the whole Avengers thing, I have not cared about a superhero one bit. I have not read comic books. I have not watched the movies or the shows. I haven't played games, like nothing. I am done. I've been so superheroed out, and sadly, Spider-Verse has suffered from that fatigue. And Spider-Man's my favorite superhero too. But as for The Boy and the Heron, I really liked that movie a lot. Surprise, right? I really, really liked it. I've seen it 3 times. The first time I saw it, I was very confused and my brain hurt. And then the second time I saw it, I understood the movie. It has so many layers. And then the third time I saw it, I finally put it in place where I kind of like it compared to all the other movies. It's not my favorite one, but I like it a lot. It's really good. Robot Dreams is ideal for you. The director's a big fan of Miyazaki. It's an emotional film. Yeah, I haven't seen it because I'm waiting for an English cast. I don't like watching movies that I have to read subtitles on because then I'm missing a lot of the nuance in the acting. I'd really love for there to be an English cast. If there's an English cast, let me know. I honestly haven't looked into it. But that movie, I had some friends that worked on that. I did not even know it was in production when it was in production, but I live in the US, so go figure. Okay, I'm going to go over our timing chart really quick because I'm sure some of you want to know what the heck I'm doing here. So imagine this is my timing chart. Okay, it's 70, and it's going to... We're just going to do this because we do not need that many. How many? You could probably get away with that. We'll go to 88. We're learning, yo. So the middle pose is actually 82. Or no. Man. Hard to explain when I haven't thought it out myself in timing chart form and when I'm just going on feeling. We'll just do it generically here. This will get the point across. So let's say there's like a middle pose, and let's just say it's 79. The rest down from here, I'm going to just go directly into 88. However that many takes. It's going to take a lot. I'm working on 3s just to get some subtle stuff. So this is just moving like this. Excuse me. All these lines, if anyone ever is wondering, what are these lines doing here? These lines are really just to show an assistant animator or whoever would need to look over this work where the arcs are and the spacing between 2 drawings. It's really the spacing. So this would show that since it's like kind of perfectly even between 70 and 88, 79 is evenly between 70 and 88. But and that's going for the rest of them. This is 72 is evenly placed between 88, 75 is evenly between 88, all that, etc., etc. What makes an animation feel just a little bit extra special that I learned from my very talented mentor is getting some really close-up ones near the front end or the back end, and that will really, even if it's just like super subtle, it'll make your character feel a little bit more alive because we never move super in the middle of anything. We're never in perfect equalcy moving. So let's say this is 77. This is 5? Yeah. No, 74. I already did my math wrong. Jeez Louise. And this would be 77, but whatever. I drew one too many. But this would be going into this, and this would be a third. So there was like, it's not exactly in the middle between 76 and 70. It's like kind of favoring the first pose a little bit. So yeah, that's what the magic is, and that's why I'm going backwards, because I had this pose be like the middle pose between these two. And so I'm just like tightening into this first pose more and more. Robot Dreams is mute. That's really interesting, actually. Wow. Okay. You've piqued my interest. I think I need to see this film now. And then I'm just gonna open up these spaces. Here I'm just setting up drawings that I'm definitely gonna put here. Your animation is good. Thank you very much, Dylan. I appreciate that. Currently I'm setting up spaces where I want things to be. This is a pretty close pose, so I'm gonna put the middle pose very close to the next one. Looks like you're going for a breathing loop here with easing on both sides. I actually am. This is more of right here, yeah, it is a breathing loop. And I have here, this is just like a loop of drawing the same exact drawing, just again, so that it kind of gets a little bit of a jiggle. And that's something I observed that Ghibli does do. I actually observed it in The Boy and the Heron. Seeing it in IMAX, I was able to see kind of what they were doing with their technique, and I saw the character held frame jiggling, and I was like, no way, they do a jiggle. And if Ghibli does a jiggle, then everyone should, because they're masters. But yes, and I'll apply that jiggle here somewhere. I also want to see Robot Dreams too. Yeah, I think it is coming to something. It's coming to either a streaming service or it's going to be in theaters. I saw someone say something about that. Let's do this drawing because it's pretty close. So, like I was talking about before with the timing chart, this is going to be my middle pose. And the next one is going to be pretty close to the one in red, which is the previous drawing. If anyone like wants to know a secret to like how I'm planning things, like a lot of animators will use thumbnails and stuff. I do sometimes. If I'm doing a very complicated shot, I might thumbnail it out. But most of the time, I kind of just feel for it. And imagine I'm the character and try to feel what the character's feeling. And that gives me a little bit more of a sense of the timing of like an action, like something like this. Or like what he might do. And that comes with a lot of practice. I remember when I first started animating, Tom Bancroft told me that, you know, the masters, they can just like basically do a first pass and it will look great because they feel timing. And I'm not saying I'm a master or anything, but I didn't understand at the time like what he even really meant. I was like, how do you feel what you're doing? How are you feeling time in drawings? Like, I didn't understand that at all. But as I've animated more and more over the years and like really studied things and like gone frame by frame through some shots, like I actually get it now. And you do start to get a feeling for it. So yeah, if you're wondering how to improve your feeling, I just say keep practicing. It'll come. Regarding the question on animation backgrounds, for me, I draw more than animate, mainly aspiring at the moment for creating designs for animation. Well, cool. Everyone has their place, you know. Everyone goes to school for animation, but animation is such an encompassing word. You can be a background painter working in animation, but you don't have to ever animate if you don't really want to. You know? You don't have to be an animator working in animation. Everybody has that one really good thing they're good at. And mine is clearly plumbing. I hope that joke landed. It's really... I've never done anything live before, especially by myself, so I'm not going to laugh at my own joke. But it's a really awful dad joke, and no one laughed back. Just like my everyday life. How did you get the idea to create your axolotl character? I love him. Do you have one at home or just fascinated by this animal? That is a great question, and it has a cool little story behind it. So I created Ho-Ho, and his name is pronounced Ho-Ho. His name is a play off the Mexican pronunciation of axolotl and the way they pronounce their words and language. So think how the Spanish pronunciation of axolotl would be like axolojo. I butchered that, I'm assuming, because I can't speak Spanish, but I heard that and I was like, oh, like Ho-Ho, that's so cool, because like JoJo didn't seem like it fit an axolotl at all, but Ho-Ho just did. Like, it just sounded like, oh, okay, well, this is like calling back to his roots, and like, it's a cool little name, and it's a fun little playoff name. But I first drew him in 2020. I was just kind of sitting at home with my wife, and I think it was like midnight, and that was during the pandemic. We were all locked in, so we were not really doing anything, and at that time, I don't know if I was working on Space Jam 2 yet. I might have been. I can't remember. But there was a lot of nights working on Space Jam 2 and around that time where I just like stayed up until 1 o'clock sitting in the living room like with my wife watching YouTube, and like I was just drawing all kinds of stuff. But I ended up drawing Ho-Ho. Like I just did this one little drawing. And I could pull it up. Hold on. And it was like the first watercolor drawing that I actually was proud of, which still is probably my best work. And when I drew him, it was like the whole story, I would say 75% of the story came to me in like 10 seconds. It was just like, whoa. And it's kind of inspired on what was going on during that time. I mean, I'm living in Nashville and my family is in a completely different state, and I wasn't near them for a year and a half. I think I didn't see my family at all. And the story is about looking for your family and the family that you make along the way with your friends, because the only people I had nearby was my wife's small family nearby and my friends. So it's actually a personal story, and I am actually an axolotl. You've all been fooled. But no, I don't actually own one. I've thought about it. I thought about just making my mascot in my room, but I don't own one. As the story evolved, I got very invested in what axolotls actually deal with in real life and what they represent, and they're a very endangered species, and the story kind of revolves around how you should not own an axolotl, actually. Owning axolotls does a lot of damage to their ecosystem. But I mean, can't be helped. They're already being breeded and whatnot. So I'm just trying to bring some awareness. Let me get situated in this chat because I'm lost. I wanted to learn 2D animation on my own time, but needed a good structure, especially getting better with my drawing skills. Drawing skills is a very big part of it. And when I first started animating, I had really bad drawing skills. I already been drawing for most of my life at that point, but I never really sat down and studied people that much. I mean, I did, but nothing ever really clicked. And I think the best thing to have for some people is truly a mentor. And my mentor when I first started was Tom Bancroft, and he really helped me grow in a lot of ways. So I'm really grateful for having Tom in my life. There's a lot of super subtle movements I'm doing here. Did you see Pencils versus Pixels? I think Tom was the producer on it. Tom was the producer. That is his documentary, and I was actually the animator. I was one of 2 animators on that, and that was during the pandemic as well. And I was working on that while animating on Space Jam 2, while also still finishing college. From at home. That was a lot of fun. It like the animation in that movie was actually supposed to be set up a little different, but when the production company that like actually ended up making the final cut took control, they like they wanted to move around the animation a little bit. I think it was supposed to be more of like fun tutorializing with Ming-Na Wen. So it changed up a little bit. I think all the animations in the credits, I think now. But it was supposed to be like during the movie. It was going to go through like the phases of animation, I believe. And that would like cut in before the live action footage. But that was a lot of fun. I mean, Tom is a very close friend of mine. So it was like working with my dad, basically. Depends on what anyone can do. I am currently learning coding. That would help my income while sustaining my side hustle for art and animation. Well, to be honest, I think we're all in that kind of place. I think anyone that has a job in animation right now is extremely lucky. I don't know what's going on. I'm tightening up his eyes, make him like squint a little bit more before he goes into this like pose, but I have absolutely no idea if it'll work. I'm sorry the same two songs are playing over and over again. That's all that's on this playlist. But I don't want this video to get taken down. I do have the entire Ghibli catalog on CD, but I again don't want to get in trouble. Very cute watercolor sketch. Oh my god, just joined the live, and I love axolotls. Cool. And thank you for the comments on my watercolor sketch. I remember when I drew it, all my friends were like, if you make a short film about this axolotl, I am on board. And I was like, alright, well then I guess I'm making one, because all my friends said yes. They owe me. But yeah, if you just joined, and you maybe joined semi-recently, I said at the beginning that we just finished all the backgrounds, or all the layouts for Act 1, so we will actually start some animation semi-soon. I know some of the people in here are on my Patreon, and I appreciate anyone who's in a place that can join and help the cause making this thing. But if you want to check it out and join as a free member, sometimes I upload some free stuff. So, you can always join. But any of the production stuff, I usually leave that for the paid fellas. I wonder if this will work. His eyes don't look like they're gonna work. What am I thinking? I think I'm just gonna go directly into this shape. I think that's the best call. For his hand here, I'm actually going to do something a little different. Hold on, let me read this question. I think I would have liked that original approach to the movie better. All of the animation felt squashed in the end credits at that point. The streaming service minimized the movie. Oh, you're talking about pencils versus pixels. I don't think it had to do with the streaming service, actually. It just, that's just how it, artistically they wanted to do it. I like how it turned out in the end. Honestly, it probably turned out better than what it would have been. But yeah, I think Tom did a really good job, and I know the guy who directed it. He was a editor at Pencilish prior. I've hung out with him a few times. He's a nice guy. But yeah, what I'm doing with this hand, I mentioned it before I read that question. I'm actually bringing it in a lot closer to this previous drawing. so that when he goes into this next pose, his hand just moves over a lot quicker. So it kind of just looks a little bit more jostling. Am I on this drawing? Yeah, I didn't draw the lines. Man, I'm gonna hate myself when I have to go back in and draw all these lines. Oh, I'm getting many texts. Oh my goodness. Should probably read them for a second. Let's see. Okay, I'm good. We'll do this. I can basically guess where these lines are gonna go at this point. I've drawn them like this many times. So this is my basic guesstimation. Okay. Oh, I should do the pillow. Duh. I'll probably do this sort of thing again, especially with Axel Odyssey. This is a service that I promised in my Patreon, and it did take me this long to figure out how to do that because I'm actually secretly 900 years old and live in the 1800s. So it did take me a long time to figure out how to actually set this up, but I got it. And I will be doing this sort of thing for paid people on Patreon more often than for free people, just because it is a service that I promised a while ago. I think, let's see. I'm gonna play this out, see how it feels. Let's see how this feels. That feels a bit long to be on that pose. To go to that one, I think ease into that a little bit more. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah. How long is Axel Odyssey going to be? The storyboards are at 15 minutes. But right now we're focusing on just making the first act, which would be like roughly 5 minutes. And I have some ideas with what I can do for the whole story and whatnot. It'd be really cool to make it into a show, honestly. That's kind of my end goal. I would, at this point, it wasn't before, but I'm thinking of either cutting it down to 10 minutes or trying to make it into a show. But regardless, right now we're focusing on just making the first act, because if we can have anything, we would really love the first act to just be out there for people to watch. The first act is really good. It's definitely my favorite part. And the ending. The ending's really fun too. I won't spoil anything, but there's a part where I have to, I think, draw like 20 axolotls at once. So that's a little bit of a spoiler, but hey. I've shown the picture before. I don't know where all you guys are located, but outside for us today here, it has been raining, and I got a nice $1,300 car bill coming my way. That was really a great start to my day. I didn't even get much sleep last night. I think I got 4 hours of sleep and woke up and was thinking about work. Even when I don't have a project currently, I wake up with director nightmares. Let's see some questions. Ouch. I'm making my first video game right now. Later, John. Okay. Thank you for coming and good luck making your first video game. That is super tough. One of my friends is actually making a point and click adventure. And I should ask him how he's doing on that. It's my friend Joel Guthrie, if any of you know him, or have followed along on Axel Odyssey or on any of my posts. He's one of my closest friends, and he's been pretty integral into making animation for Axel Odyssey happen at a faster rate than just me doing it. But he's also worked on basically all the projects I worked on. We both went to school together, and I just saw him the other day. But he's making a point and click adventure with some of our other friends in town, and it's looking really cool. Alright, I put the button there. I'm gonna put the button here, and that makes my life a lot easier. And I don't know when his point and click adventure is getting actually made. They're all just making it for fun, so they're not rushing to do anything. They're not even promoting it. It's really literally just for fun. I know they'll put it up somewhere when it's done, but that's not been their main focus. Do you want an in-betweener at all? I can send her a quick reel. Been animating on and off for 20 years. Ah, yes, you were the guy that said that. Right now, I'm not looking for anybody because I'm not at a point to hire anybody. But later down the road, I might be. And if you'd like to send your reel, I would love to see it. Whether or not you do get to work on it. I can give you some constructive criticism if you would like it. I have to redraw some of these, especially like, is this last one okay? Not convinced I like what I did with the hair. All good. Still send it though, Chris. I'd love to see it. 20 years, you probably have surpassed me, I'm assuming. I've only been doing this for 6. I mean, my forms are going all over the place. His ear is tiny, that's probably why. And the hairline. I think this needs to be moved just slightly. This is like too low, too high. And for the Goldilocks zone. I probably should have drawn out this drawing a little bit more. That would have helped. What is one thing I should focus on while animating at school? Currently, special effects animation has my attention. If you want to do special effects, there's a lot of jobs in that. I'm not great at special effects. You know, I'm more of a character animator. I would say focus on your strong suit, but also focus 75% into a few other things that are valuable to have as assets, like storyboarding, character design. It's always good to just like explore things, backgrounds, whatever you enjoy doing the most. Honestly, focus on one as your major specialty, and then like put some focus into some others. I know all the hair is messed up on this. I didn't even do this move. Oh, actually, I didn't even need that frame. That was an extra frame. Good, because I was really confused what I was going to do with that. I'm going to head out now, visiting an art museum. Cool. Nice to be checking here. I'm keen to keep on creating and support animation. Home Axel Odyssey. Axel Odyssey is doing well. It is. Thank you. And thanks for coming by. See you later, Clay. Enjoy your museum. I've kind of wanted to go to an art museum lately, too. There's some really cool ones in Nashville that have some nice features every now and then. This eye is wrong. I already know it. I specifically designed this character to have really small, tiny eyebrows. I'm not exactly sure why. I just wanted it. Has it already been an hour? Wow, look at that. That went by pretty quick. I love animating. I should have planned out the hair a lot better in advance. I'm already mad at myself. This will be really no fun to fix later. Why did I do that? Why do I do these things? Don't know if any of you watched this, not this in specific, but if any of you have watched the latest Bancroft Brothers podcast with Mark Henn, that was a really interesting interview. Hearing Mark's comments on the state of the studio and why he left in the first place at 43 years. It's really interesting to hear, and kind of not surprised, to be honest. I really recommend, if you're interested, you should listen to it. It's really good. I've met Marken once at like one time when I was out in LA, and I hung out with him twice while I was there. The first time was we were all getting a studio tour, and we were supposed to have like a special allocated Disney tour guide. And Mark caught us at the door because Tom was the one like leading all of us, and he was like, "Quick, follow me. I'll take you on the actual tour and show you the good stuff. The real tour guide's not going to show you anything cool." We were like, "Okay." So, so we went with him instead, and probably got in trouble. But we saw all kinds of cool stuff. He showed us all sorts of stuff, and especially in his office, like drawings that he's kept since, I don't know, probably Aladdin times. I mean, it was drawings of him and Tony and Tom all goofing off back at that point. It was really funny to see those. I showed him a piece of animation I made at that time. I was really new, and that was the scariest thing I've ever done, because his response was to just look at it, and then he looked away, and I was like, well, there goes my career. But I would like to see him again at some point. I want to redeem myself. But yeah, it's sad that he left Disney. I was really hoping that I would get to work with him there at some point, honestly. I did listen to it. Honestly, it's sad that Disney is pretty much done with 2D animation, even after 100 Years Tribute that everybody loved. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot on the internet and YouTube, and it's basically just the internet, how people really, really want Disney to do some 2D again, and people really think it's coming, and it's not like out of the question. Of course, it can definitely happen, but Mark brought up the point that I've always wanted to say in a YouTube comment, which I just don't ever do. I just don't ever leave YouTube comments. But like, they would have to completely gut, basically, the CG aspect of the studio and start a whole new 2D division. And they're not going to do that. I mean, they did that for CG. They got all the 2D, basically, like probably 90% of it. And whoever was lucky enough to work on Winnie the Pooh, Princess and the Frog, and Home on the Range was truly lucky, because the studio was basically not 2D anymore at that point. But yeah, they would never, I mean, they might outsource it. I mean, Disenchanted was done with Canadian studios, but I didn't think that came out that great, to be honest. And I worked on it. None of my shots are even in the movie, which is really sad. But I'm not hurt, because I didn't think the movie came out that amazing. I met Don Hahn back in college. He was promoting a new doc after Waking Sleeping Beauty, and did portfolio reviews of our program. Mine was the only one he didn't say anything about, except good job. I hope that's a good thing. Hope you're meaning that he said something constructive to everybody else, or like destroyed someone else's portfolio, and yours was like, good job. Yeah, I mean, CG, you can learn CG basically anywhere at this point. You don't even need to go to college for it. You could just do an online class, and the online classes are done by professionals who, I mean, do it every day. $2D is just, it's weird, because I feel like it is making a comeback, especially with younger kids in school, like myself, who I would consider a kid in this moment. I feel like it kind of has made more of a comeback because it's fun. You get to draw. And also people want to do it. People can do it. Like, you can be a YouTube animator technically. It's very tricky to get away with being your own freelance animator doing your very own thing, but like, people don't always want to do CG. And I feel like for the longest time it was like, CG's new, CG's cool, we're only doing CG. And now it's like, okay, actually CG's overdone and we kind of miss the art of actually just drawing for ourselves. It's really actually very entertaining. And like artistic, and not like there's anything bad with CG. I tried to do CG. I honestly gave it my college try, and I just can't do it. So if I can't draw, I decided that what makes me an animator is it the idea of animating, or is it drawing to animate? And it's drawing to animate. I like physically drawing. So if I can't draw, then it's not art for me. It's art, but it's not. I'm not doing art at that point in my soul, in my heart. I always interpret it as a good thing. Yeah. It's crazy to know that overseas, it's just very possible to make a movie any way that you actually want to. Any artistic medium that you see is the needed one. It's just doable. Here it's just not easy, that's for sure. I feel like you would need like a super investor like Elon Musk or something to just come in and say he wants a 2D movie, and he'll just put like $1 billion towards some brand new company. That's what the animators need to figure out, how to get involved with the crazy investors. I think it'll turn around though at some point. Or all the good 2D animators will just move to Europe and make good movies over there. Yeah, that's basically how I felt with 3D2. I felt like I could just do this in like 2 seconds in 2D. Like, I could just draw this first frame like in 2 seconds. Like, why am I wasting 2 hours doing a pose? I'm very slow at CG, and like, I suck with computers. So it just isn't for me. It's for some people though. Some people can't really draw that well. They don't want to put in the time, or don't put in the time. And are great animators. They put in the time into animation. I mean, I've seen videos basically made by kids, like literal kids, on YouTube, who'll make something and I'm like, holy smokes. Like, how did that kid do that? That would have... It's a full-on short film. It's wild what people can do now. But the art of drawing, it's never gonna get easy. I think there will always be people around that want to do it. In 2D, it's literally just as quick as drawing one frame after the other. No modeling, texturing, rigging, camera position, or lighting necessary. Yeah, as you can see, that is a very good point. That is exactly what I'm doing right now. None of that. Oh, I wanted to actually bring it closer. Yeah, and I don't have to worry about splining anything and worrying with splines. But not as easy to find a job. A little bit harder. I have a feeling it's quite difficult to find a CG job right now too, though, since there's like so many people wanting those jobs all the time. The nice thing about being a 2D animator and like there being very little jobs is there's also very little 2D animators. So you're really only going up against like a handful of people that you're most likely friends with who are putting your name in on that project anyway, and it's really just more of a like, who got here first? Who was lucky to be able to actually soak up that budget? We all kind of know each other at this point. The pool is so small. I have a feeling that this computer generated, well, I guess that's exactly what CG stands for, but what I'm really thinking is more like AI will probably be able to do CG stuff quite easily in probably 3 years max. I can see them applying that to a Maya rig a lot easier than drawing exactly what I'm drawing right now. That's just me. And if you know me, you know I'm not a fan of the AI stuff, basically at all. And if you like AI, that's totally fine. I don't care. I don't think it's worth the trouble. I do think it's interesting though how people are completely willing to give up the idea of complete creativity though so easily. Why? And it's not really the creative people that want to give it up. So odd. These eyes are all over the place in size. This is just gonna look like craziness when I hit play. Okay, it doesn't look that terrible, which is good to know. Let's see what this looks like. I may change how he kind of does this like nuzzling right in here where he kind of comes back up. I may change that. I'm gonna watch it a few times. It kind of feels like really even there. I might take out one of these drawings like this one and just bring it even tighter in there. Like this. Oops. All learning process. Yeah, I've thought about the whole AI thing with 3D. You have X, Y, and Z coordinates with machine learning can pick up on. With 2D, you're literally having to sequence hand-drawn images and understand. Yeah, it seems really easy for a computer to be applied to that, to me. That's what I think. The relationship between frames. Yeah, I know. This hand is below his head. It's more like towards his ear. And this one is above, like over his mouth. They don't really kind of come in contact with his cheek that much. It would be more like this. Completely hidden. I'm just drawing it in because it helps me out. But I'm really looking more towards the timing. for how I personally feel about it. Or really the spacing of it all. Let's see. I think I like that a little bit more. Just like add a little time in there. Really get close in on that pose. Yeah. My leg is falling asleep. Wow. Wake up. This I'm gonna flicker for a while, but I have to just grab those drawings. What is this, the first drawing? It is. Do I have one too many frames? Oh no. Or not enough frames. Might just have one be on twos. Or what I'll do is this. I'll just probably delete both of these. Okay. It's going to be really interesting going back and tying this down. Some of it's tied down and some of it is just plain not. That song always makes me laugh. Maybe I won't even draw in all these details. Maybe just the biggest changing spots. I could go in and fix it all later. And tie down. Might do that just to save time. This has been fun for sure. Probably will wrap it up in a minute, since I have some other things to do today. But let's see, where's another major pose that I can draw out? Let me try and get these two in here, even though this drawing is in the middle. It's like just like a real problem child. So then we can see what this looks like, and I'll probably end it after that. This is like the rough pass that I would not show a director if I was going to show them. Like this drawing, this one is not something I show to somebody. And I'm animating it live in front of all of you. Mistake. I should have drawn it better. And I will draw it better, but not right now. Man, the hair is just a mess. One technique I like to do when I'm animating like a first pass, like rough one like this, is to be loose but careful, which is something that Tom told me a long time ago, and that's what Marken would tell him when he first started, to just be loose but careful, because there's really no point in getting caught up in all the details, but you have to be careful, you know. You don't want it to look not like the character, which I feel like I've kind of done with this key pose. Whoops. That way it just makes your life easier when you go in and actually try and make it look viewable. But this project's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really glad I'm going outside my comfort zone. I can't really speak today. What the heck? Maybe I'm dying. I teach a class at a university and I never mess up my words, but I go on live YouTube for 2 hours and man, I sound like a ding dong. But yeah, this is definitely not my comfort zone. I'm not always typically used to drawing very subtle, realistic people, but it's what I want to animate, so I'm doing it. And I'm moving them around the screen and everything. I'm going crazy. Some of them will be really, really hard, but I'm here to mess up over and over again. That's also another secret of my animation skills. I fail basically like at least 50 times. I'm just like, that's not true. It's not 50, but for whoever's watching. But I do mess up like all the time, and I just keep going. To me, if you mess up, it's just you figuring it out. Proud of me. Oh, thank you. Let's see what this looks like. I feel like some of those drawings could be on 2s, to be honest. It's just like so slow right there. This is a little problem spot. Ugly drawing, slow, mucky. It's just muck. trying to ignore the hair as much as possible. Should have just drawn it as like one big shape. I am trying to figure this timing out. I may just have too many drawings there, honestly. What would happen if I deleted this? Would that be nuts? If I just went from here to here instead of wrapping back around to the left here? Or maybe it's this drawing that I delete. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Duh. Bum, bum, bum. Everyone cross your fingers. Still too slow. Still way too slow. Put some of them on ones. Now what? Now what are you gonna do, little kid? Okay, no, it's too fast. We might need a one there, or just like one less pose. I may just cut this one. This is all part of the process. I'm trying to speed it up, and yeah, roughs do tell the truth. They tell the truth that I have no idea what I'm doing. I think, okay, that seems a little better to me. Let's see. Put this out as a 2, and possibly this one as a 2, and then still this one as a 2. Maybe both of them, maybe all these. I like to play around with 3s, 2s, and 1s, to be honest with you. I know most productions it's like stay on 2s, and that's what I'll do for a production, and use 1s if you have to. But when I'm doing my own personal stuff, I really like to explore what things could look like when you're going between 1s, 2s, and 3s. So it's fun to play around, but let's see what this looks like. Hold on, I have to just answer something. And I am going to wrap up in a minute here, but I'm really thankful that you all came to watch. I think that looks better. I think that's looking better. The only problem I'm dealing with now is I should probably turn on the sound and make sure it syncs up. Yeah. And I could cut it down a few frames too because I extended it quite a bit. Let's play it one more time. Let's just let it play. Let's let it play while we close out here. How's it looking? Very nice. Thank you. I think it's looking good. I think maybe just a few down here. I could two, bang. I think that'll do it. I'm a maniac for timing, but I bet it's gonna do it. Yep, that did it. That's what I was looking for. I am a stickler for finding the best timing. Alright. Yay. Thank you everyone for coming and watching me struggle through this very hard shot. Even though, I mean, nothing's really happening, but it's super subtle. I appreciate it so much. And I should do this again. I'm gonna do more of these, definitely for the paid Patreon people. But I'll probably do some more free ones down the line. So if you don't want to pay for the Patreon, I'm not begging people to pay for that. But if you want to join, you know, you can join for free. And I appreciate any support for Axel Odyssey, which is literally the only reason why I have it there. It's just to pay my friends doing the other work. I'm just basically taking no money out of the project. But yeah, thanks guys, and I'll post this when I have this done. A lot of the drawings will probably look a little different. Alright, yay! Bye bye everybody. I'll wave bye. Looks great now, thank you. See you later everyone. 55 views, cool. Alright, ending stream in 3, 2, 1. Oh, you're welcome.